got your prize.
Did simplifying Aro's motive to tyrannical power-grabbing oversimplify his complex villain logic? Aro of the Volturi is the most complex, layered, and fascinating antagonist in the entire Twilight saga, and the film franchise's decision to strip away his nuanced, obsessive motive of collecting gifted vampires and reduce him to a generic, power-hungry tyrant is widely considered the worst character assassination in the series. This oversimplification does not just weaken Aro, it breaks the entire lore of the vampire world, erases the moral grayness that makes the Volturi compelling, and turns the saga's ultimate villain into a forgettable, cartoonish bad guy with no depth, no curiosity, and no logical motivation beyond rule of the world. In Stephenie Meyer's novels, Aro is not a brutal dictator driven by greed. He is a scholar, a collector, and a connoisseur of supernatural talent, a vampire who has lived for over 3,000 years, and whose greatest obsession is not power itself, but the preservation and hoarding of the rarest, most extraordinary gifts in the vampire universe. Aro's core character trait is his insatiable curiosity and his greed for unique abilities. His gift of tactile telepathy allows him to read every thought, memory, and power of anyone he touches, and this has turned him into an obsessive collector. He does not want to rule the world through fear. He wants to own the most powerful, one-of-a-kind vampires as his treasures. The Volturi are not just a ruling council. They are a museum of supernatural perfection, and Aro is the curator. This motive explains all of his actions. He hunts rogue vampires not to enforce law, but to claim their gifts. He spares gifted vampires like Edward, Alice, and Bella not out of mercy, but because he wants to add them to his collection. He targets the Cullens in Breaking Dawn not just to eliminate a threat, but because he is obsessed with Renesmee's one-of-a-kind hybrid gift and Alice's unrivaled precognition. This complexity makes Aro terrifying in a way no generic villain can be. He is calm, charming, polite, and utterly ruthless. A villain who smiles while he steals your freedom and your power. He is morally grey, not purely evil. He believes he is protecting the vampire world, while feeding his own obsessive greed. Book fans revere Aro because he is unpredictable, intelligent, and deeply fascinating. He is the perfect foil to the Cullens' peaceful, moral lifestyle. The films, however, throw all of this away. On screen, Aro is a screaming, violent, paranoid tyrant whose only goal is to kill anyone who challenges his rule. His love for gifted vampires is erased. His curiosity is gone. His calm charm is replaced with over-top aggression, and his every action is motivated by nothing more than petty tyranny. This simplification ruins the entire climax of Breaking Dawn, Part 2. In the book, the confrontation is a battle of wits, a negotiation between a collector and a family protecting their treasures. In the film, it is a mindless, violent battle with no tension or logic. Fans have repeatedly stated that this change makes the Volturi feel cheap and unthreatening, as a generic evil empire is far less scary than a calm, intelligent collector who will stop at nothing to own what he wants. Worse still, this cut erases the thematic depth of the saga. The books explore greed, obsession, and the cost of perfection, while the films reduce everything to a boring good versus evil fight. The fandom's final judgment is clear. This is the laziest, most damaging simplification in the entire franchise. Aro was never a one-note tyrant. He was a brilliant, obsessive collector. The most complex villain in young adult fantasy. Reducing him to a generic, power-hungry villain did not just oversimplify his logic. It destroyed his legacy, his threat, and everything that made him the unforgettable heart of the Twilight saga's greatest conflict.